Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets. You'll hear from players, coaches, broadcasters, and writers that cover the NFL daily. The New Orleans Saints podcast starts right now. Here are your hosts, Erin Summers and Todd Graffagnini.
Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast, brought to you by Rouse's Markets and for the last time from UCI Irvine. Erin Summers here with Todd Graffagnini. We wrapped up a light day of practice, about an hour. They were just in shells. Not a ton of work, but I think it's in preparation for the joint practice that was finally announced as official against the Rams on Thursday. Graf, when you take a look at the work that was done today, what did you like in terms of some of the stuff that we saw or maybe haven't seen in a while?
Yeah, it was good. Got some 11-11 done. We had a couple of punting periods. The kickers kicked again, and we have not seen 7-on-7 probably in 2 weeks, and got a little bit of that, little 7-on-7 red zone, where we saw a very interesting play take place with Mason Tipton throwing a little pass after he caught it over to Velus Jones Jr. for a touchdown. That was the ooh and ah play of the day. But no, Erin, we're burying the lead. The big news was the joint practice against the Rams tomorrow, and that's why they went light today. If we were going to practice again here tomorrow, they would have been in pads again. So definitely toned it down. It was good, solid work in preparation of what's going to be a long day tomorrow.
Yeah, and as you look on the field right now, the linemen, they're still getting some work in, some techniques, conditioning, things that they're going over for tomorrow, because Coach Moore said that tomorrow is really going to test your rules as far as what you're supposed to do in the scheme and your technique, because the ones are going to be going up against the ones. It's going to be a lot of really fun and intense work tomorrow. Today, it was Spencer Rattler who ended the practice with the ones. Tyler Shuck started the practice with the ones, and we saw a couple touchdown drives by Shuck. Again, they had the short yardage situations in today's practice, did a lot of red zone work, and then later at the end of practice, they had a end of game situation or 2-minute type drill. It was a call it period, and it actually ended the exact same way practice ended yesterday, with a Julian Blackmon interception. Kind of weird, but the guy is definitely getting some good work in.
Yeah, no, and I know, Spencer Rattler has said that his third down conversion situations and, getting points on the board, that's something that he's got to improve on, because we're seeing long drives. We're seeing 10-plus play drives, but just like the end of practice yesterday, that was a 15-play drive that ended up with no points. And today, at the end of the game situation, basically it's 55 seconds left. They're at the plus 40-yard line and a timeout. And he got it down to the 11-yard line, but got it down to the 11-yard line with 2 seconds left, so it was basically a do-or-die type of play. And he did face a little bit of pressure. He had to roll out in the pocket and threw in the end zone, and Blackmon intercepted it. But we've seen Spencer move the ball. But, again, he admitted, got to get points on the board.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he ended the day with that interception. Earlier, though, in the team drills, the 11-on-11 red zone work, he did get that touchdown pass to Chris Olave back of the end zone. He was getting pressured, but it was a good play. I think some people were wondering if it would have been called a sack or not, but they did not blow it dead, so it ended up with that touchdown pass to Chris Olave. Earlier in that red zone work, Tyler Shuck had a nice shuttle pass to Jack Stoll for a touchdown. So we're seeing a couple different wrinkles in this offense, but don't expect to see anywhere near everything that we will once the season starts.
Well, it's pretty curious, and Kellen Moore was asked the question after, how unusual is it to have a joint practice against the team you're actually going to play in the regular season? And I thought his answer was pretty well thought out. You discussed this with Sean McVay, who's obviously one of the best coaches in the NFL, and they kind of, came to the decision that, well, we're playing in Week 9. I think you're going to know our tendencies and we're going to know your tendencies by that time, so it really doesn't matter. So it's just all about the work. This is let's throw in the term. This is lagniappe for us, because we were not expecting this at all. So Remember, we're out here for a month last year, and we thought the last week was going to be capped off with joint practice against the 49ers, which never happened, and really put a bummer on the last week of camp out here in Irvine. So now, the second to last day we're going to be here. We're heading home on Friday. We're actually going to get a joint practice against the Rams, so I'm really ready for it.
Yeah, and it's going to be earlier in the day. The Rams are the host, so kind of on their terms, they've been holding practices earlier, so it'll be 11 o'clock West Coast time when practice starts. And then, the team, everybody will be able to have more of an open afternoon before heading back to Metairie Friday. Kicking, as far as that goes today, Blake Grupe was again perfect. His long was from 48. Charlie Smith appeared to be perfect as well.
He was. I have confirmation they were all good.
All good. And also the long would then be from 48
Correct.
as well, because they hit the same distances in today's kicking reps. And then the punters also had time during practice.
And they should get a lot of action tomorrow as well. So, and this will be, special teams. Kellen Moore called it thud. They're not bringing each other to the ground, but they're going to be full speed. You're going up against another team. You're going to want to impress. So those special team punting reps are going to be pretty much live without the tackling. Yeah,
so that'll be another good evaluation period for the punters. Again, it's going to be a lot of one-on-one, so a lot of good action and a lot of good observations coming from that one. Short practice today, so we brought in a heavy hitter in Kay Adams. She is the host of the Up and Adams show on FanDuel. Amazing guest, and we're just going to go ahead and send it to that interview. I was able to catch up with her today while she was stopping on her tour with the Saints today. Kay, thanks for joining me on the New Orleans Saints podcast. Always one of our favorite guests. How are you?
It's amazing to see you, of course. I feel like I miss New Orleans a little bit, but there's something about being in the same place, the hotel, that I think is bringing camaraderie to this team, and I can honestly feel it, and I've been here for 5 minutes.
Well, I just have to say that this podcast is going to do better numbers than the New Heights podcast tonight.
So
really, I'm excited.
It really is. I honestly think we should just all be off for the next 48 hours because nothing else will be talked about except Kellen Moore. I've been here all day. Nobody is talking about Taylor Swift. No one is talking about Showgirl, Schmogirl, or Schmelcy. Nobody is. It's all about Kellen Moore, which I have to be so honest with you. Not that I don't love him. I've known him a long time as a quarterback, of course, and then calling shots places. But to have the glowing reaction to Kellen Moore, I don't know that I was quite prepared for that today.
These players have really taken to him. In your conversations with some of the guys already, what stood out?
I feel like exuberance among the veterans, and Cam Jordan always sort of finds a way to reinvent his motivation and what he's playing for, but there's a little bit something different here, and I think it's Brandon Staley. He obviously made his thoughts known on the D-line coaching, so he seems to be very happy with that. They're the same age. I think that's the thing, and I love the OG tenured coaches in the league. There is something to the relatability. He, as the youngest coach in the NFL, I've seen it in other stops on my tour. This is stop 14 this year. It matters. It matters, this sort of being able to level with them, get in there and get on the field, nitty gritty with them as well. So that's what I sort of have picked up. And I would say, when I was talking to Chris Olave, you just get the feeling that he, from him, Kellen's going to put me in position to make plays. He's going to get the best out of me. He knows how to do that. He's a genius. He cares about efficiency. And from Demario Davis, you just have to go watch the video on Up and Adams. You have to watch the interview because he stopped me and said, he's a fan. I'm a fan. I've never said that about a coach. He's had some good coaches, Super Bowl winning coaches, as we know in the past. And he really harped on not just efficiency, which I think is important to everybody, but he harped on team building. Not team building like camaraderie, but his staff. That the coach came in and he's like, he put together a heck of a staff. And I really thought it was great to hear him talk so glowingly about Brandon Staley as well.
It's been interesting both sides because there is the newness defensively and now offensively. We're back with an offensive-minded head coach, and I think the offensive players love that. Chris Olave literally said, I love Kellen Moore. And I think it's so cute, and they're going to hate me for saying that, but it's cute when a player talks about loving a head coach this early.
I think it's because he's getting the deep ball more, That's really if you play to your players' strengths and you care about what's important to them, clearly that's something Chris Olave's great at, got away from a little bit, now he's healthy. And you look at, I was like, you're running jet sweeps out. Did I see a video of you running, like, oh, what's happening there? And they're lining him up at the backfield. There's all this, like, trickery that's happening, these little moments. And I said, like, do you like that? Was that a conversation? He just said, it's installs every day. We love it. I'm here for it. And they just, want the best out of them. And I think Alvin Kamara probably feels the same way. And on the defensive side, they just want to see the offense popping so these dudes can win a ring before they decide to hang it up.
Exactly. Got to keep that offense on the field, lessens the work for the defensive players, for sure. When you look at the Saints team, what they're building, what intrigues you most about them this upcoming season?
Oh my gosh, let me think here. I mean, I can't say anything without knowing who the quarterback is. So I think it obviously, when you have somebody like Kellen Moore, who's been around the best, not only in locker rooms like with Matthew Stafford, but Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts last year. This is a guy who's coming with a championship mindset, right? And so he's going to set the agenda top to bottom, but we all know the quarterback position is the most important. I don't know as a fan if I like that it's really close. I think I like the idea of one being ahead of the other. I thought I'd get the idea that it was all just politics before I got here, but after today, I do think it's close. I think the second preseason game is going to be largely telling, and Kellen's going to have a heck of a decision. I don't know what it's going to come down to. In my opinion, I'm fascinated by the answer would be who can run my system without problem. Like, just who can do what I want them to do. If I'm Kellen, and I have my guess on who it is, but I'll leave it to the fans to decide. But that'll be the most fascinating thing is who wins this quarterback battle.
And then how they do and how they lead this new offense for sure. Tyrann Mathieu retired days before training camp started. I know you've spent time talking to him numerous occasions. Do you have any good stories about him?
I think the person that I asked about Tyrann today was Demario Davis, because I look at them in that same tier of, man, you're insane on the field, and the accolades and obviously the championships, all of that. But who you are as a man and what you've meant to the people around you, like these are people who have this sort of chaplain-esque, mentor-esque, like leader, father-y, ahead of the class sort of thing, setting the agenda, giving the speeches, the tone setting, all of that. I think it's not a memory with Tyrann, it's just how everybody talks about him. Whether it is Demario Davis or whether it is like Justin Reed with the Chiefs or any of those guys in that Chiefs locker room, like years removed, they're saying we now show up 20 minutes earlier than we ever did, and that stayed after Tyrann left us. He set that sort of a bar. I think he'll be a coach somewhere eventually. I like that he's doing what he's doing now, to spend time with family. I think that's really beautiful. I don't think he's going to stay away very long. I would like, my dream for Tyrann is, of course, whatever he wants. But if I would be lying if I didn't tell you that I've been very much pushing for him to be on air and I've been very much trying to work that because I think he's brilliant.
He is, and I always appreciated the time he gave us in the locker room and just how detailed he was. He really respected the job that we had to do as well, so I think he would be good at that.
What did you think when he retired? Like, what was
I
your
was
first
shocked.
reaction?
I mean, I felt like it had to have been coming. I just didn't expect it then because he showed up to off-season work, and so I didn't think that he would make that announcement a couple days before, but the Saints lucked out because they got Justin Reed in free agency and were able to pick up Julian Blackmon pretty quickly within 24 hours, and they look really good out there, so it's been exciting.
Mickey doing Mickey things.
Exactly. You never cannot count us out at any point in time. Day 14 of your tour, place 14, is actually our 14th practice today too, so the synergy there.
We made it, Erin. We made it.
But all that being said, we're usually on the same page, and I feel like Sir Saint would be upset because you might be cheating on him with Jackson.
I need to get away from this storyline, Erin. Help me bury it. We didn't have an open for the show. I was very tired, very loosey-goosey, and we were just messing around, and then it just became this life of its own. I don't have a thing for mascots. Let's clear the air. I'm not dating any NFL mascot. I love them all equally, but I do feel like since then, I will tell you, I've been to many camps since, and I've not seen a mascot. So I feel like they're all a little like, okay then, okay, fine, we're not going to even come say hi. I truly feel that way. I think that there's a little bashfulness there. But no, I will not attack you. I will not make out with you. Come say hi to me, mascots. I love you all.
That's amazing. They're avoiding you
too.
Yes, I know. I'm sure he misses that he didn't get to see you this time around. When you go to all these different stops, is there a story or a personality that you didn't expect that jumped out so far this year?
Kellen Moore probably would be one of those here, just the impact that I see him having on the tenured veterans who it's like, I'm here 14, 15 years, why am I listening to you? What are you bringing to the table? My window is closing. That has popped off at least here. And I would just want to say one more thing about the Saints that I didn't ask anybody, but just the big question for me is like, are you guys bringing in a veteran quarterback?
No, because they have three guys on the staff that played quarterback, and that's been their MO.
They have that. I just have to say, Jameson, New York, I just would love to. I'm as a fan of storylines, that's one that I'm wishing for before I go to sleep. Not because these guys don't have it down, and they do have that quarterback mentality. You're right, the veteran leadership is there from that position, but I would like to see a veteran quarterback, an actual current quarterback in that room. That's something that I'm sort of thinking about. Let me think. Themes that I'm seeing. I think like the youthfulness of coaches is really why I harped on that today with them, because I wouldn't know that I was super convinced on that being as important as it is, but as someone who also has to relate to like Gen Z in my day-to-day life, it's not that easy. You know, the younger you are, there is a bit of an advantage to that. So it's interesting to see that. I was of course in Denver with the highly touted, very comfortable saying this is a Super Bowl ready team with Coach Payton, who likened his squad to the 2011 Saints roster, which I thought was very interesting. And he, of course, was echoing just his love for the city as he knew I was coming here. So all those moments sort of connect together, you know?
Yeah, well, we see the Broncos' last preseason game back in New Orleans, so that will be a fun one for sure. What's next for you? What can we expect? I know you're almost done, a week left on the tour here, and then what about the upcoming season?
I have some philanthropic stuff that I'm doing this weekend in the Bay Area, so I'm excited to take a little bit of a breather from the training camps, and then I really want to attack the NFC North. I think it's the toughest division in the business, so I left it to last, and I want to just go team by team and figure out what's what. How big of a step do the Lions take back, if any, with losing these coordinators? Is Caleb ready for what the expectations are? Jordan just had a bit of a surge. The quarterback situation is very interesting. J.J. McCarthy, I have faith in him. Very polarizing, though, at the quarterback spot, so I'm super, super excited to talk to them. I would say the other theme that I've run into is just this, if you're on I want to talk to all the pass rushers about Micah and Trey. I talked to Cam about it today, and you talk to the best in the league, the ones that play at the most elite level, about like just what it means to them as guys who give it their all. And it's a very small group at the top, and they all just want them to get paid. And I like the camaraderie and the brothership there that I'm noticing, and getting those deals done. Everybody wants Micah. Everybody wants, Wagner, Lamonte David, them to all hang on as long as they can. It's a special group, and it's sort of a great moment for that position. Hopefully they can get those deals done.
Yeah, we have a couple very special defensive linemen on our side of the ball as well, so we appreciate what they do, and we appreciate you always. Thank you for coming.
The gold jerseys, can we talk about them?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you. I love being part of New Orleans. I know we're in Orange County there, but way to make me feel awesome in I got the gold jersey today. Of course, the Darren Sproles, you guys surprised me with that, the 43. My favorite player, so that's just awesome. And then I saw a little sneak peek of the white helmet. I don't know when we're wearing them. You guys send Erin comments below and tell us which week they should wear those, because it's going to be amazing.
I can't wait, and I have no intel. It's just going to come
week one
at the best time, and we're going to be excited. So thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You're the best. Thank you. Have fun at practice.
Appreciate Kay. As always, she is a great guest to have, and we hope to see her later on in the season as well. Tomorrow is that joint practice against the Rams, 11 a.m. West Coast. So that is 1 o'clock, prime time for like a late lunch break for you guys, and we will be bringing it to you live. Yes, on NewOrleansSaints.com. The entire practice against the Rams will be live streamed. Todd and I will have you covered with all the commentary. Make sure you're seeing everything that you need to see out there, calling plays, telling you some information, storylines from all the practices out here in Irvine in our final practice before we head back to Metairie.
Looking forward to it. That's going to be a lot of fun. I know the people back home are going to be really fired up to say. I mean, we haven't had joint practices that have been open to the public, at least Saints fans, in a long time. So the fact that they're going to be able to watch that and us to be a part of it, that's going to be awesome. So can't wait.
So practice will be about 2 hours. So, schedule yourself a meeting late afternoon at work and just click on over to NewOrleansSaints.com and check out the Saints practice against the Rams tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com, the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets.